I was taking shots like this with our dog running towards me, and pretty much it nailed the focus. There were a few misses, but most of the time it managed to nail it. However, I'm looking for the 95% accuracy and not just. This is the Sony 70-200mm lens, which I thought was going to be my dream lens, and especially when you take one factor into consideration. And obviously the factor I'm talking about is price. So after all, the 70-200 exists in a couple of different versions, mainly the f2.8 and the f4. Which is this one right here. And the f4 actually comes also in two different versions, being an older one released in 2013 and a newer one released in 2023. So today we're talking about the 2013 version, which is the one I got here. Originally this lens retailed for around $1,500, which isn't cheap at all, and it was meant to be a professional or prosumer lens when it was released, which is why I was thinking that yeah, after all, disregarding the age of it, if it was good then, it probably is good still now. So I got it, and now that I had it for a few days, I'm thinking about actually returning it. So here are my thoughts on it. And some coffee. The reason I opted for this f4 version is that it cost 800 euros from the local store as used, but I consider it to be decent considering that the optics of it was in prime quality. And the prices of new ones being around 1,300 euros after the Sony cashback, I decided that the 500 euro difference is going to be enough to get it as used. And another reason I opted for the f4 version instead of going directly to f2.8 is the depth of field, which is a thing that's going to bite me in the ass. You see, I switched to a full frame camera, meaning that after all, at the focal range of 70-200 f4, it's not as shallow in the depth of field as f2.8, however, the difference is quite small. For example, in portraits like this, you'll see that even at f4, taking a portrait of a dog, you'll see that the eyes are tack sharp in focus, while the nose, being just a tiny bit in front of the focus area, already gets out of focus, kind of breaking down a picture. So either way, you'll have to stop down to, let's say, f5.6 or even narrower. Thus, in situations like this, having a lens that goes wide open to f2.8, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Another thing I was considering was the portability. However, this is kind of the thing that led me now to change my mind on the decision. When I went to pick this up from the store, I was handling this and comparing it to another lens, the Sigma 70-200 f2.8, and whilst on paper and whilst seeing the lenses there next to each other, there is a size difference. However, in my personal opinion, when I was juggling them there next to each other, playing around with them, in practical use, I didn't notice a difference in the size at all. Surely this is technically smaller, but will it make a difference in my use case? No, absolutely not at all. Zero difference. However, I'm not a wedding photographer, so I'm not shooting for 6, 8, 12 hours constantly. If that's you, then take that into consideration. Now, the main reason I'm going to ditch this one is just age and autofocus. Now, after all, the autofocus on this one, it's not bad at all. I was taking shots like this with our dog running towards me, and pretty much it nailed the focus. There were a few misses, but most of the time it managed to nail it. However, I'm looking for the 95% accuracy and not just 90%. So the difference, it's going to be minuscule, it's going to be very small. It's just something that I personally prioritize. And with modern camera bodies being as good as they are with the Sony autofocus, I don't think it really makes sense on skimping out on a lens then. And this is coming from having personal experience of the lens that I'm shooting this very video with here, the Sigma 24-70 DGGN. And the autofocus there, it's just bang! It's like it's spot on each and every time, exactly where I want it to be. It's rapid, it just nails it every time. And this is performing good, but it's not really just there. But is it then enough to justify over a 1,000 euro difference between this going from 800 to that one as 1700 or similar. I'll be the judge for it in my case. I would say objectively, no, absolutely doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, subjectively, it's something I prioritize. It's something I just want to go for. So bam, I'm gonna do it. Secondly, who can't be to dislike the shallower depth of field that you'll get with f2.8, especially when going for full body portraits like this. With a 2.8 lens, at least you have the option. With this one right here, you're limited to f4 and that's all you're going to get. And finally, a small thing when this was released was that it was rated to be weather resistant. But rumor says it that the newer lenses which are rated to be weather sealed are more protected than the old ones which are just moisture resistant. Now I'm not planning on shooting in storms, but I want to be able to have the capability of going out there in case it's raining or snowing, or in case you're in Norway and suddenly surprised by intense weather. Considering it's Norway and on the coast of Norway the weather changes like every 15 or 20 minutes or so, it doesn't hurt that the equipment is better rated. But yeah, we'll know in 5 years how many times I've actually been shooting in the rain, but at least I have the option to do it with peace of mind, so to say. And another point is that this body, the A7S III, is a beast in low light situations. Why not emphasize that advantage that you have even further by, with a lens, allow an entire stop more of light to enter the sensor and just bang on smash every low light situation that's out there. And yeah, don't get me started on the f1.4 or f1.2 lenses and their low light capabilities. That's a separate discussion. We're focusing on the 70-200, right? Yeah, I'm excited about all of this. And a disclaimer here in the end, a thing I haven't taken into account is the optical quality and the sharpness of the lens. This is for the main reason that, yeah, this is a 10-year-old lens, but the camera body I'm shooting with is the Sony A7S III, which is primarily made for video, the same sensor as the FX3, which they, by the way, shot the Hollywood movie The Creator on. So yeah, this very sensor has shot a Hollywood movie with the budget of, I think it was $80 million. Yeah, the sensor resolution is 12 megapixels. The quality on this glass, it's perfectly fine enough for a 12 megapixel camera. That's it. But if you're going for higher resolutions, such as the A7R series, then again, optical quality of the glass might be something you want to take into consideration. In my case, it doesn't matter that much, so. However, upgrading to the Sigma will down the road provide an advantage in case I get another body or decide to trade this up. Then at least I know that the 70-200 I have and I'm using will be good for also that. But in the current case, that hasn't impacted my decision making pretty much at all. But going from this Sony to the Sigma, there's definitely one thing I'm going to miss, and that's going to be this large white long zoom body. It looks way better than just the... I'm not gonna say these words because somebody's about to clip them out and put them out of context. If you watched this video this far or you enjoyed it or found it entertaining, consider to like it by hitting the thumbs up button down there, as it really helps out this channel. Also, subscribe so you don't miss out on the future junk I post here. So, thanks for riding fences with me today, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!